Greetings from around the world. I am on another side of the world. It out here. Since my Minecraft series has officially concluded, I have time to go into more different types of content that I would like to try out with this channel. I have realized that although my earthly connection to YouTube has been disconnected, I still retain my spiritual connection to YouTube through making videos. Instead of consuming videos like a cow waiting to be released each morning to feast upon the grass it's been consuming all its life, I will find meaning within the confines of my reality. I will keep enjoying life by simply living. That is also why I'm writing a script for this video, so I can be more in tune with my thoughts instead of trying to convey them on the spot in a live recording. Now you may be asking yourself, isn't that no different than just talking without a script? No, because this is a direct link to my inner mind talking directly to the screen, instead of my superficial social mind trying to convey my thoughts through a lens of basic conversation, like anyone else who would meet on the street and go get something to eat with maybe, but enough of that boring stuff, you know? You really want to know what this video will do for you. I get it, it's completely understandable. But to be real for a second, I think this superficial way of looking at the world isn't a great way to spend your time. Obviously, of course, we have to pretend to be a different version of ourselves when we're out in the real world, and not confined to the infinite ways a YouTube video could be created. We have to meet new people, land a job, order food, without going into our super specific ways of existing and communicating with one another. There's this common saying in society to always be yourself, which I think is a really great concept on face value, and it's one I try to live by in a weird sort of way. But not in the way that you might think it might mean, or whoever made up this phrase or whatever it means now. The way the phrase is like associated with the modern world is just like talking to people and being yourself. Just go into the job interview and show them your meme folder. Just order food by using all 5 different languages that you know. No, that's stupid. Reality doesn't bend to your super specific wants and needs. If that were the case, everyone would just have what they want and no one would get hurt or have any bad emotions. So you kind of have a couple different options when dealing with this reality of not being yourself 100% of the time. You can sort of mask yourself to behave in a way that society sees as correct kind of way to do so, while in your spare time acting exactly how you perceive yourself. Or another option is you can act however you want all the time, but there's a sort of rejection in both ideologies. They're both rejecting the fact that there's no other way to engage with life in a way that both benefits us, the person who wants to be themselves 100% of the time, and the reality that wants us to not be us. However, this kind of notion is kind of rejecting one possible fact. This scenario is kind of rejecting the fact, though, that the other person that you're talking to in this hypothetical situation in the real world doesn't want to be themselves 100% of the time as well. You know, they probably do want to be 100% themselves in this arbitrary conversation that you're having that's pretty surface level. So it's about finding a balance, like all things in life. But I think that's sort of a cop-out. Sometimes when meeting someone for the first time, maybe it's more like 10% you are both being yourselves. Or maybe you're at like a 25 and the other person is at like a 70. I think the key is understanding that reality isn't set in stone. There are parts we can't influence, like taxes, the stars, or people that are already set in their ideas. But we can influence the way we want reality, and therefore life, to go. Although reality may have other plans for us, of course, we can still change things in ways we didn't think were even possible, such as ordering food, for example. If ordering at a restaurant, there are many different ways that can go. Instead of just quickly shouting out your answer for food like a ping pong of conversation, kind of like you are ordering online, You could ask what the person taking your order recommends you get instead. Or you could pull up a random number generator and pick randomly. Or you could start a whole new conversation with the person taking your order, not even about the food. Of course, if they have the time and aren't trying to take someone else's order. There are so many different ways you can take this concept. In this sense, you are being yourself, because you are giving yourself options in life that you didn't see before. Now, you might think that this method is like being yourself 100% of the time, bending reality to your will. But it's really not. You're choosing to give yourself more options, therefore more opportunities to be yourself. Expanding on ideas that once were only in your mind are now becoming a part of reality, making this bond and pact between you and reality to make the best option and stay optimistic. But it's more than just being optimistic. You're choosing to create new futures for yourself. More opportunities to be your future self that you want to be. Okay, so how does this pertain to commenting online? Well, think about how much the internet has become like those superficial interactions in real life. Most of the internet is now very surface level and not that interesting. Even when you dive into your own niche community on the internet, how deep are you really going into it? From my own experience, a lot of YouTube communities I've loved have become like these superficial conversations in real life, with not that much substance or value, just kind of appealing. These videos are trying to cast the widest net possible and get as much views and attention as possible, which I get. Some people have made this their job and will only see it in the money and the attention that they are getting from the videos they are making, which I strongly hate and reject, but it's a part of my reality, and I can choose how I deal with this situation. I can completely reject YouTube and stop watching. Maybe I'll get really into finance and become a millionaire before I age out of becoming a teenager, to inflate my own ego. But this method is also giving into the idea of reality and fate. I am becoming a millionaire at a young age because it's what society wants from me, and I will show how I beat the system of reality by grinding it out, so people will respect 100% of me because I was 100% of me all the time, which in this case I am being me by rejecting YouTube, my reality problem, and choosing to do this other superficial thing by being me and going in 100%, if that makes sense. Usually this side of the internet is going into reality instead of rejecting it, ironically. No disrespect to grind culture and the Sigma teenagers, because I know they're trying, and that's more I can say for a lot of people, or even myself a lot of the time. I mean, some disrespect to some of you, let's be honest, but that's a topic for another day. So with my dilemma of current YouTube, what can I do? I could give in and just consume mindlessly, which is 0% of being me and hating it, which is kind of what my reality problem wants me to do. I could reject my problem and become 100% me, a grind god. Or instead, I could find another way to tackle my problem that is true to myself while still being in the confines of the system, such as comments. I used to never leave comments on videos. One, because I was scared of being seen and having my thoughts out there judged, and two, because I thought no one would even see my comment, and it would have no impact on anything. But as I have gotten older, I realize that I want more conversation. I want my thoughts to be seen and heard. Also, I've realized that people really do read the comments. Even if you really are just shouting into the void of the comments, you are still making an impact mentally on yourself, or at least on the algorithm of the video. Of course, you might not get the attention of the 10 million sub YouTube channel, where they have so many people commenting where it's impossible to read all your ideas. But channels who do read the comments always appreciate it, and not just the surface level ones, but the ones who dive deeper and yearn for more out of life and their media. Even if it's a mean comment, I would encourage people to comment, because at least you're speaking your mind, especially with dislikes being disabled too. I'm not encouraging hate, but I think if you genuinely didn't like something in the video, then you should comment it. As long as you have good intentions, I don't think it's a bad thing. Then you are an influence on your reality. The person who made the video can then wonder about your comment, and it will change their future videos with your opinion. Even if it's just subconsciously, if they decide to engage with it. But even if they don't, another person commenting can comment on your comment and form their own new ideas, and you guys can get into a good old internet debate that goes on for hours and leaves you feeling completely hollow inside. But at least you will have influenced your reality, and at least you'll have that experience, right? And isn't that better than just doing nothing and just mindlessly consuming? However, I also want to acknowledge that sometimes you can't make a compromise, and the answer is being yourself 100%. That is a way of going about things just like the rest. Sometimes it is the correct answer, and that's great. Or maybe at 0%, you have to just do this thing. You have to complete this assignment the way your teacher wants. You have to talk like you're supposed to and shut up. But I think these scenarios are way more rare than we think, and maybe it will teach you something about yourself too in the process. Either way, this concept you can apply to life in general, and I don't think you should be using this concept solely for the internet, as the internet I feel has lost its magic and is generally a bad thing for yourself, at least in recent years. I'm still on it, trying to make a compromise, instead of just completely rejecting it. But hey, that's a good option too when it comes to the internet. Hopefully you enjoyed me talking, and I want to try out something new and just letting myself get engrossed in the process of making a video again. And I beg you to leave a comment on this video, or any video for that matter, or just life in general. I would love to hear from people, even though I have no viewers at the moment. Maybe if you see this video far off in the future and leave a comment, I will come back and you'll still influence my inner psyche. Thanks for watching, and please stop using the skull emojis, bruh.